Dane County officials say this campus intersection is one of the most dangerous in our area. The dramatic video that proves that ahead.
And Amazon is setting up shop in Rock County. We'll tell you about the impact that could have on the local economy.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on a Tuesday morning. It is October 8th. I'm Josh Breiter.
And I'm Leah Lynchide. Meteorologist Hattie McLean, as always, bringing the sunshine on News 3 Now This Morning. But you're bringing it for the rest of the viewing area, too.
That's true. We all have a beautiful forecast today. If you liked yesterday, chances are you're going to love today. Here's a live look from the WISC-TV Skycam. Still so dark outside. Just starting to see the first hints of our sunrise on the eastern horizon this morning. Skies are clear. It is definitely chilly outside. We're down to 41 here in Madison. Watertown has dropped to 38 now. Camp Douglas is at 35. So there are some pretty chilly spots in the area. Temperatures should warm nicely, though, through the day. With sunshine and a light south wind, we're looking at highs in the upper 60s this afternoon. Now let's get a look at those first alert traffic maps across southern Wisconsin this morning. Here in the Madison area, still a little early for high volume delays. There are some brake lights on the Beltline right around Stoughton Road. No other issues, though, in and around southern Wisconsin to report right now. And that's your first alert traffic.
Thank you very much, Hattie. Breaking overnight into the Channel 3000 Alert Center, Hong Kong's leader is warning that the Chinese military could step in to stop protests there.
She is reiterating, though, the government still hopes to resolve the crisis itself. Carrie Lam says Chinese military intervention is possible under Hong Kong's constitution. Just last week, Lam implemented a colonial area emergency law to criminalize wearing masks at rallies. The protest started in June over a now shelved extradition bill that would have allowed some criminal suspects to be sent to the mainland China for trial. It has since become a larger anti-government movement among protesters. Local breaking news overnight, Amazon is coming to Beloit. The Beloit Daily News says city officials approved a 1 million square foot distribution center at the Gateway Business Park at their meeting last night. Construction could start as early as next week and is expected to be done by September of next year. Kenosha and Oak Creek both have their own Amazon fulfillment centers. The move could mean thousands of new jobs in the Beloit area.
To our other top story this morning, we are taking a closer look at some of the most dangerous intersections here in Madison for anyone on foot or on bike.
Police count more than 1,300 crashes between 2011 and 2015. Many of them happen on the UW campus, and that's where we find Keely Arthur with more this morning. Keely, good morning.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. We are at one of the most dangerous intersections according to that county data, University and Randall. Now, UWPD telling us this morning that most of these biking and pedestrian related crashes entirely preventable. Check out this video they sent to us this morning showing this very day 4 years ago, October 8th, 2015. You can see this green car turning onto University, hitting a pedestrian who appears to be jaywalking. That person ended up being okay, but the intersection has seen 20 crashes in the last 5 years, many involving bikers and walkers. And this all goes back to people needing to follow the rules of the road and not drive or walk distracted. UWPD pushes these messages on social media and sometimes patrols the problem areas like this one as an important reminder.
I know it's frustrating for a lot of drivers if they're traveling through campus during class change, and it's like a never-ending sea of students crossing the road. But the rules of the road state that when there is an individual actively walking in a crosswalk, they have the right of way and you have to stop.
A AAA report shows that if a car hits a pedestrian going 20 miles an hour, about 13% will die or suffer a severe injury. That rises to 40% at 30 miles an hour and about 75% at 40 miles an hour. Now, biker, pedestrian, or driver, everyone needs to stay focused and alert. That is the key to resolving this issue, and we have a list of all of those dangerous intersections in the county up on our website and our mobile app. Josh and Leah.
Keely Arthur live in downtown Madison this morning. Keely, thank you.
6:04 your time on this Tuesday. Happening today, 2 women accused in the death of a teenager in Iowa County are scheduled to be back in court. Lori Berry and her daughter Alexis face charges of first-degree reckless homicide as party to a crime in the death of 13-year-old Selah Caden in 2018. Selah's parents are from North Carolina and sent her to live with the Berries in Mineral Point for the summer when she suddenly died. The Berries say Selah had behavioral problems and hit her head after she threw herself on the floor. But autopsy results show she died from smothering and blunt force beating. If convicted, the Berries face a maximum of 60 years in prison.
We're now hearing from the attorney representing the boy and his family involved in a $2.8 million lawsuit against the city of Madison.
We have certain standards in this community that the police have to follow. While they have latitude, they also have license, and they have to act responsibly. If they don't act responsibly, they have to be held accountable.
Attorney Charlie Geeson says he expects the city will deny their claim and is prepared to show the surveillance video to a jury to decide if Madison police officers used reasonable force as their internal investigation found. Geeson says it is possible that the family will settle before it ever reaches a jury, but that depends on what the city will offer.
Happening now, Fitchburg police are looking for the drivers of a stolen SUV that crashed into a squad car this week. An officer spotted what he thought was a stolen Audi in a parking lot along Thurston Lane yesterday. When he went to go talk with the driver, he says the SUV intentionally hit the side of his squad car to escape. There was a short police chase, but that car did get away. The SUV is still missing this morning. Again, it's a white Audi, and it should have some damage on the front passenger side. The officer involved in that crash was not hurt. 6:06
right now. 4 men are waking up this morning with all of their rights restored after being pardoned by Governor Tony Evers. One of them is Dr. Mwangi Vassar. The Milwaukee native owns a barbershop in Georgia and serves as an associate minister. But his dreams of being a military chaplain were impossible because of a felony conviction from when he was 19. He was arrested for selling what he says was $80 of cocaine.
Not a bad person, and any other man or woman that has been convicted are all not bad individuals. We just did something wrong at that particular time. I was one that was told, you're not going to accomplish this, you're not going to succeed in this here, and I stand before you today as a straight A student with a doctorate degree.
Now 40, Vassar's getting a new chance to pursue his military dreams. Governor Evers pardoned him and 3 other men yesterday. The first acts of clemency in Wisconsin in 9 years.
Both parties here in Wisconsin are waiting on a special election that could be a litmus test ahead of the presidential election. Governor Evers has yet to announce a date for that election for the 7th congressional district. That's for Republican Sean Duffy's seat, who announced his resignation for family reasons. This election will serve as a crucial test for both parties in a district that was held for 41 years by Democrat Dave Obey before redistricting made it a stronghold for Republicans since 2011.
It really gives them a huge leg up for the fall election.
We're going to be very much seeing a competitive battle to retain the seat.
The governor first set the dates for the end of this year, but that conflicts with federal law, which requires 45 days for absentee voters to send in their ballots. The administration says the election will not take place with the spring primary or the general election, but whenever it happens, it leaves whoever wins that seat with only about 6 months before they have to win it again.
Kroger and Walgreens are joining other retailers as they decide to stop selling e-cigarettes. Kroger, which also owns several brands, including Pick and Save, said they're no longer selling the product because of the questions and increasingly complicated regulatory environment. Walgreens says it made the choice as the CDC, FDA, and other health agencies continue to examine the health risks that e-cigarettes present.
Some of that research being done is happening on mice. A study out of the NYU School of Medicine found more than 20% of the mice exposed to e-cigarette smoke with nicotine did develop lung cancer. They say the results aren't meant to be compared to human cancer, but they do highlight the need for more research on what e-cigs can be doing to our health.
A Milwaukee couple is being charged after police found more than 10,000 THC vaping cartridges inside their home, along with nearly $1 million in cash. 30-year-old Amanda Ware and 34-year-old Giovanni Molina were arrested last week. They're being charged with maintaining a drug trafficking place and intent to distribute THC. A semi-automatic handgun was also found. The bust follows the arrest of 3 members of a Kenosha family accused of running a massive counterfeit THC vape cartridge operation.
6:09 your time now. Still ahead for us this morning. If you're looking to make some extra money, retailers already planning on hiring thousands of people for seasonal help as the holiday season draws near. We'll tell you who's hiring next.
But first, enjoy that fall weather while you can. Hattie's tracking some increasingly colder temperatures in the days ahead. She'll have a look at our extended forecast coming up for you next on News 3 Now this morning.
Happy Tuesday morning from the Hattie-O Patio this morning. It is a little chilly outside, I'll be honest. Temperatures are down in the low 40s here in Madison, but a nice day ahead. Here's a look at high temperatures yesterday. I show you this so you can have a little perspective for today. We hit a high of 66 in Madison yesterday. Temperatures to the south and west, though, were closer to 70 degrees. So I think we are going to be just a little bit warmer today than we were yesterday, thanks to that southerly wind. So I bumped temperatures up to 68 today and 69 tomorrow. We in fact stay in the 60s through the entire work week. However, Friday's high of 63, that's a little deceiving. 63 will be in the morning. Temperatures will be falling through the day, setting us up for a pretty chilly weekend around here. Highs will be in the 40s. Now, here's a look at your GFS Future Track forecast model starting around midday on Thursday. We're going to have a lot of clouds in the area on Thursday, and a few showers may work their way into southern Wisconsin for the afternoon. The rain, though, could turn heavy at times overnight into Friday morning, but then tapers off later on in the day on Friday. But hard to ignore that blue shaded color that is encroaching on southern Wisconsin there as we go to late in the day on Friday into the upcoming weekend. We may see a few flakes of snow here. No accumulation, of course, is expected, but parts of Minnesota and northern Wisconsin may see a little bit more snow with this particular system. Lots of cold air behind it, so even if we're not seeing any snowflakes, it is going to be kind of blustery and cold through the entire weekend. Now, here's a look at total precipitation, and keep in mind this is mainly in the form of rain for southern Wisconsin. We're seeing around an inch forecast for this storm system, so unfortunately not what we need. But at least we've had a few days for those river levels to recede just a little bit. Temperatures across the region are coldest in northern Wisconsin, where we have mid-30s right now. A little bit warmer here in the southern part of the state, but not much. We have some 30s in our area as well. 38 in Watertown, 35 in Camp Douglas. The Dells down to 40. We're at 41 here in Madison, and it's 45 in Platteville. Winds are pretty light this morning, and they're expected to stay light from the south through the day. Lots of sunshine just like yesterday. Mostly sunny skies with high temperatures in the upper 60s this afternoon. As the sun sets after 6, it is going to cool down quite quickly. So if you're outside this evening, temperatures will already be dropping into the 50s, and then overnight will bottom out in the mid-40s. Here's a look at that extended forecast. One more gorgeous day on Wednesday with highs flirting with 70 degrees. There is a chance for some rain then late on Thursday, and the rain becomes likely on Friday with a few rumbles of thunder possible as well. Temperatures will turn much colder for the upcoming weekend. Let's get a look at your First Alert traffic maps now this morning with Jason Stone. Good morning, Jason.
Good morning. No problems on the Beltline. Drivers are making their way at the posted speed limit. Expect to tap the brakes on Verona Road between the Beltline and Highway PD in both directions. All other routes into Madison and Dane County are mostly clear. And other than some minor congestion at East Wash and Blair, no delays on the Isthmus or campus at this time. With your First Alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you very much, Jason, and thank you, Hattie. Later this month, a spacewalk made up entirely of women will be making history. It's going to be the first spacewalk without men, and it's scheduled for October 21st, nearly 7 months after an all-female walk had to be canceled because 2 properly fitted spacesuits weren't readily available. That spacewalk still happened, it just wasn't all-female. Christina Koch and Jessica Meyer will be on the mission in less than 2 weeks. Congrats to them.
That's awesome. Southwest Airlines pilots are suing Boeing for more than $100 million in lost pay. The 737 MAX jets were grounded after 2 deadly crashes in less than 6 months. The Southwest Airlines Pilots Association filed a complaint last week stating Boeing deliberately misled pilots about the safety of the aircraft. A Boeing spokesperson wrote in a statement that the company, quote, has the greatest respect for the men and women who fly for Southwest Airlines. However, Boeing still plans to fight the lawsuit, which calls meritless.
New this morning, Best Buy says it's planning to hire thousands of people for this upcoming holiday season. To find those workers, the company is hosting nationwide job fairs this Thursday and Friday from noon until 7 p.m. local time. All U.S. stores will participate in the holiday hiring fair. The event is flexible, so you can apply online or in store with interviews on the same day. They're accepting walk-ins for those interviews, or you can reserve a spot.
Already seen a lot of holiday commercials.
We're talking about Christmas already?
It's crazy.
Ooh.
All right, coming up after the break, we'll tell you how you can take your family to Thanksgiving football game to the next level by having it hosted at Lambeau Field this year.
Ooh, and you are probably going to want a jacket as you head out the door this morning before the sun warms things up later today. Take a peek at that sunrise, though, just gorgeous. Hattie's bus stop forecast is up next on News 3 Now this morning.
Welcome back at 6:21. Look at that shot of downtown Madison on a Tuesday morning.
Stunning!
I don't think it can get much better than that, other than the fact that the sun is coming up later and later every morning. That is a beautiful way to start the day right there, Hads.
It is. You can sleep in and still see the sunrise these days.
Silver lining. There you go.
What is sleeping in?
Yeah, well, it's all relative, right? Yeah. That is true. Well, we do have clear skies across southern Wisconsin. Take a look at our weather track map. Really not showing anything because there isn't any cloud cover across southern Wisconsin. So again, just like yesterday, enjoy clear skies. Now our temperatures this morning are a little chilly. If you're headed out for an early morning run, it's 41 here in Madison, only 40 in the Dells, 41 in Janesville. Watertown has dropped into the 30s, a little bit warmer to the west, but not much, mid-40s this morning for southwestern Wisconsin. At the bus stop early today, you'll want a jacket. Temperatures will be in the mid-40s. You'll carry that jacket though on the way home. Temperatures will top in the upper 60s with nothing but sunshine today. Take a look at your extended forecast if you're planning your week out. Still looking nice on Wednesday. Getting a little wet later in the day on Thursday. There could be some rain by the time school lets out. Friday will likely be a wet day and a much cooler day as temperatures fall through the day. Have a wonderful Tuesday.
All right, Hattie, thank you very much. Collections for our annual Coats for Kids drive are closed, but we're still counting everything that was donated. We're up to over 4,300 donations this morning. We'll be sure to bring you the final count once we have it. In the meantime, though, for those of you who want to get a hold of a coat, our distribution starts next week, October 15th, at the Community Action Coalition's Free Clothing Center. The hours are right there on your screen. We also have this posted on channel3000.com.
New information now. There's a study out this morning on college campus safety that's ranking universities right here in Wisconsin. SafeHome.org reports UW-La Crosse is the least safe college in the state, counting 0.95 violent crimes per 100,000 students. Still, that is quite a bit lower than the least safe college in the country, Nebraska, with 4.72 violent crimes per 100,000. In Wisconsin, Fox Valley Technical College is the safest.
Homecoming week is in full swing for Badgers across Madison. The UW Homecoming Committee is getting students into the spirit with a variety of different events and festivities throughout the week, with events such as Success Works Rocks concert at the Wisconsin Union Theater and the 2019 Red Talk with Judge Kashua Christy Yang. The main UW Homecoming Parade is coming up Friday at 6 p.m. off Gilman and State Street. You can find more about the upcoming events on our website, channel3000.com.
The Badgers will have a tough test for their homecoming game. Michigan State is in town for a 2:30 start on BTN. But the Badgers say they will be ready. The #1 ranked defense had 9 sacks and allowed just 124 yards to Kent State last week. The offense also rolling. Jonathan Taylor is the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week for the 3rd time this season. He tied the Wisconsin school record with 5 touchdowns against Kent State. He also passed Melvin Gordon for 3rd place on the Badgers' all-time rushing list. Ron Dane and Monte Ball are still ahead of him.
The Milwaukee Bucks are off to a hot start in the preseason. Last night, they kicked things off with a matchup against the Bulls in Chicago. Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Eric Bledsoe didn't make it onto the court, but Wesley Matthews did, playing his first game with the Bucks. The Madison Memorial grad scored 10 points in 21 minutes of playing time. Final score, Bucks 122, Bulls 112.
Okay, the Packers are partnering with the NFL to give you, your friends, and your family a chance to bring that backyard Thanksgiving football game to the big leagues.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. One lucky winner will get to bring 11 friends and family members out to Lambeau Field for a game of flag football the week of Thanksgiving. That game will also include a full officiating crew and live play-by-play commentary. The lucky winners will also take a special tour of the stadium, Packer Hall of Fame, and get to hang out with Hall of Famer Brett Favre. You have until October 22nd to sign up for that contest. A link to that entry form can be found on our website, channel3000.com.
Sign me up.
That is cool. That would be something that you'd remember for a lifetime right there.
It would be. It wouldn't be a very good game.
No,
but...
it wouldn't. I could barely throw a football, so.
Yeah, you and me both.
All right, 6:25 right now, and still ahead for us, we've got the top 3 things you need to know this morning before you head out the door.
And we are checking back in with our Keely Arthur to learn more about some of the most dangerous intersections in our city. Thanks for starting your morning with us right here on News 3 Now this morning.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now this morning.
Good morning, folks, and thanks for starting your day with us on this Tuesday, October 8th. I'm Leah Lynchide.
And I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Hattie McLean has a beautiful fall day in store for us. We'll join her here in just a moment, but first let's get to the top 3 things you need to know this morning. First up, breaking news overnight. Hong Kong's leader is warning that the Chinese military could step in if protests get worse. Carrie Lam says seeking Chinese intervention is included in Hong Kong's constitution, but says she can't reveal under what circumstances she would do so. Just last week, Lam implemented a colonial-era emergency law to criminalize wearing masks at rallies.
The second story we're following this morning, President Trump is pushing back against members of his own party who are criticizing his announcement to withdraw troops from Syria. The president said he is fulfilling a campaign promise to get the U.S. out of, quote, endless wars. But lawmakers on both sides of the aisle say the decision abandons Kurdish allies and creates a vacuum for ISIS fighters.
And finally this morning, the Supreme Court is taking up a high-profile issue today, considering whether the federal civil rights law protects LGBTQ employees from workplace discrimination. The justices will hear 3 different cases on the matter, weighing in on gay rights for the first time since the retirement of Justice Anthony Kennedy, who typically sided with the court's liberal justices on issues like same-sex marriage.
Those are the top 3 things we're following this Tuesday. Hattie's here now with a look at weather and traffic. Hi, Hattie.
Good morning, Lee and Josh. We're starting off with clear skies this morning. Take a live look behind me. This is the WISC-TV sky camera. No clouds in the area this morning. We're going to keep mostly sunny skies through the day. It is a little bit colder outside, though, this morning. Temperatures are running about 5 to 10 degrees colder in most spots today. Here's a look at the actual numbers. 41 in Madison and Janesville, 46 in Monroe and Platteville, only 40 in the Dells, just 38 in Watertown. Our out-the-door forecast this morning says you'll need the sunglasses, but a light jacket as well. Temperatures will climb through the 50s, back into the upper 60s, though, this afternoon. Here's a look at your first alert traffic maps this morning for the Madison area. Getting a little busier on the Beltline, but nothing that's going to add any time to your commute just yet. A look at your travel times into Madison. Looks like everyone's still going at posted speeds. And that's your first alert traffic.
All right, Hattie, thank you very much. We want to keep you updated on some pretty big breaking news overnight. Thousands more jobs could be coming to Rock County as Amazon plans to build a new facility there. The Beloit Daily News says city officials approved a 1 million square foot distribution center at the Gateway Business Park at their meeting last night. Construction could start as early as next week and is expected to be done by September of next year. Kenosha and Oak Creek both have their own Amazon fulfillment centers employing thousands.
To our other top story this morning, we are taking a closer look at some of the most dangerous intersections in Dane County.
From 2011 to 2015, nearly 30 people died in crashes involving pedestrians and bicyclists, the majority of those in Madison. And that's where we find Keely Arthur live. She's at the UW campus this morning with the story. Good morning, Keely.
Good morning, Josh and Leah. Yes, we are at one of the most dangerous intersections according to the county's data. University and Randall, UWPD telling us this morning that most of these pedestrian and biker related crashes entirely preventable. Now check out this surveillance video that UWPD sent us.
We adjust traffic patterns because of Badger game days in certain areas. We make some roads in the campus area one way. We don't allow turns in certain areas just because of the pedestrian traffic. Monroe Street right here, we shut down to, we adjust traffic patterns because of Badger game days in certain areas. We make some roads in the campus area one way. We don't allow turns in certain areas just because of the pedestrian traffic. Monroe Street right here, we shut down to vehicle traffic just before the game and just after the game to allow individuals to cross the street and do so safely.
Obviously some technical issues there, but yes, the university is the subject of many of those biker and walker related crashes. We have details on all of the most dangerous intersections in the county up on our website. I'll send it back to you, Leah and Josh.
All right, Keely Arthur live in downtown this morning. Keely, thank you.
Around the state this morning, the organization Wisconsin Operation Lifesaver, along with Appleton Police, are taking to the streets literally to promote a railroad safety message.
The groups are coming together to paint colored stenciling on the sidewalks near some of the busier rail crossings. More than 500 people were hit and killed on railroad tracks last year. In Appleton, train tracks run right through the heart of downtown and near the Boys and Girls Club. Both organizations asking people there to be extra alert since the area recently became a quiet zone.
No longer going to be that loud horn that's going to alert people to there's a train coming. So knowing where you are, just like any other place in town, of watching for vehicles, watch for a train as well.
The quiet zone went into effect last week in Appleton. In the city of Madison, there are currently 6 quiet zones, with the most recent one established in 2016.
6:34 on your Tuesday. Coming up in the morning sprint, we will tell you how ongoing protests in Hong Kong are now affecting the NBA.
And a new sports complex in Oregon has the large soccer community there concerned. We'll tell you why when News 3 Now this morning continues.
Oh boy, we're just going to look at this for the rest of the morning, huh? Not a cloud in sight.
That is a picture-perfect start to really what is going to be a picture-perfect day today.
You really nailed it on the head earlier this morning when you said, despite the fact that the sunrise is coming up later, look at that.
We
totally
get to take that in. Yeah, that is quite the shot. Hattie will have a beautiful fall-like forecast coming up here in just about 7 minutes. 6:38 right now. We've been asking you to share your morning with us, and Jody shared this picture of her dog, Boo, in Stoughton, watching us with all his toys.
Quite a festive name there, Boo.
Boo, perfect time for October.
Yes.
I'm kind of thinking that's probably why she sent it too.
I'm also a little biased, but love the content of the television.
Well,
She's watching us.
That's an important part of your morning, right?
We appreciate it, Boo and Chrissy. Thank you so much for sharing.
If you've got a morning picture that you'd like to share with us, all you have to do is take a picture and send it to us over on our Facebook page. All right, the Oregon Soccer Club is unsure of its future if a new $4 million sports complex gets approved.
The project at JC Park West has been in progress since 2016. The latest version of the plan only has 2 soccer fields in the layout. But with 900 kids in Oregon Soccer Club, the president says that's not going to work. They are at capacity with their current fields, and if this plan goes through, they say they're not sure where they'll go.
There is no definitive plan in place right now for a future home for this club that's been part of the community since 1978 and has grown by leaps and bounds, and you know, provides a great service for kids growing up.
We asked multiple members of the village board to talk with us about this project, but they all declined. The city of Neenah is now known as Whoville.
It's to help promote Neenah's high school production of Seussical the Musical. Calvin Lewis shows us how students are getting excited for this year's play and getting the whole city involved.
It's not every day you see a bunch of people in Dr. Seuss costumes and Cat in the Hat hats running around.
For 1 week only, the city of Neenah will be anything but lonely. To promote a local high school play, the temporary name of Whoville is here to stay.
You know, what you do for your community, you dress up in hats. My wife looked at me this morning and said, you know, this is part of the job, I guess, so I'm having fun.
Decreeing the town as Whoville, the mayor was dressed to the gills. Come showtime, students, staff, and others alike will be hoping the Picard Auditorium will be filled.
Back a while ago when we put on Footloose, we did some similar stuff with Neenah bands dancing, and we wanted to kind of bring the community back into it and get people a little more involved and aware about the show so that they could come and see it, and the mayor was happy to do that with us and changing the city name.
These seniors, they're working hard, and they're hoping that people come out and watch their show and watch their production. So that's what it's all about, is me helping them a little bit and getting the community involved.
And who's to say anything is wrong in a name? After all, when at the end of the day, it's all just for fun and games.
A few years ago, we were a playful city, USA, and I think today we kind of proved it, and the mayor in this goofy hat did just that.
In Whoville, Calvin Lewis, Local 5 News.
Little whimsical, Seussical fun to start your morning.
Look at you. I love Whoville.
It didn't rhyme,
no,
but
close enough.
All right, still ahead this morning. Hattie's got a couple of dry days in the forecast before rain comes back and the cold moves in. That's coming up in your First Alert forecast.
But first, if you have a little kid turning 3 soon, please let us know so we can show their picture on TV. Thanks for watching News 3 Now this morning. We'll be right back.
Good morning from the News 3 Now First Alert Weather Center. A beautiful start today with clear skies. You can see the Capitol in the distance. Sunshine will be with us all day. These kinds of days are perfect for fall color. We haven't seen a lot of it turning out here yet in southern Wisconsin. Still most counties mainly green. But as you head north, it doesn't take too long before you start to see some good color. Parts of central and northern Wisconsin are at peak right now. And with sunshine in the forecast for the next couple of days, along with cool nights, you can bet that more of those leaves will be changing. Here's a look at when peak color typically occurs. Mid-October, so in a week or two for the central part of the state, and then it's mid to late October for southern Wisconsin. There is a big storm system that moves in this weekend, though, so hopefully those leaves stay on the trees here in southern Wisconsin. High pressure is in control, and it has really carved out a huge hole through the central part of the country. Now, with it to the east, we have southerly winds today, so temperatures are expected to be just a little bit warmer than they were yesterday. If today is a travel day for you, we're still looking at no flight delays, major airports across the country at this hour, so looking good. Some spots, though, that may experience delays along the east coast with a cold front moving through. There is a potential for some rain in D.C., 65. Jacksonville also mid-80s with some rain. Further west, though, things are looking pretty dry. In fact, all the way to the west coast, we're looking at sunshine, so pretty quiet across the country. Starting to see the first signs, though, of that weekend storm already in the Pacific Northwest. You can see temperatures cooling down a little bit. Rain possible in Portland today with a high of 45 degrees. No rain in our forecast, though. We have dry conditions. Temperatures will be close to 70. Again, clear skies early this morning. No cloud cover in the area yet. We're looking at temperatures right around 45 in Mineral Point. Madison still at 41. We've been holding steady for the last couple of hours. 35 in Camp Douglas and Watertown at 38 degrees. So there are a few spots that are a little chilly this morning. Winds are pretty light, generally from the south-southeast this morning. They'll stay from the south through the day today. Enjoy that sunshine. Should be a pretty quick warm up through the day. Temperatures already back into the 60s by lunchtime, topping in the upper 60s with mostly sunny skies. Now, as the sun sets after 6 o'clock, we'll go from 63 at 6 to the mid-50s by 10 p.m. So temperatures will drop pretty quickly with that sun setting earlier. Temperatures will then be in the 40s tomorrow morning. Here's a look at your extended forecast then. We have one more beautiful day on Wednesday. We're flirting with 70 degrees with partly sunny skies. And that big storm system moves in for the end of the week. There is a chance for some showers later on Thursday. Friday, rain is likely. Temperatures will fall from highs in the 60s in the morning, and then we're back to highs only in the 40s for the upcoming weekend. It's been since April 30th that we've had temperatures in the 40s for the daytime highs. So over 5 months. It's going to be a little bit of a rude awakening. Take a look at this trio, though. Cooper, Fonzie, and Wrigley in Monroe. I wonder what's outside that window. We can only guess.
Looking for the frost.
Squirrel?
Not quite yet. Thank you, Eddie.
You're welcome.
All right, the morning sprint is up next, but first here's Tony DeCopo with what's ahead on CBS this morning. Tony, good morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS this morning, President Trump defends the decision to remove U.S. troops from northern Syria, how he threatened Turkey ahead of its potential attack on the area amid fears of an ISIS resurgence. Plus, the NBA on edge. The league draws attention to Hong Kong's human rights protest, provoking a clash with China. The fine line the NBA is walking to protect its brand. Also, Tyler Perry tells Gail how he's just getting started, why the actor, director, and producer says he feels unstoppable. Hard to doubt him. We'll see you at 7.
6:51, time for the morning sprint with the most local news to start your Tuesday.
We begin with a big breaking story out of Rock County this morning. That's where thousands of jobs could be coming to the area as Amazon announces plans to build a new facility. The Beloit Daily News says city officials approved a 1 million square foot distribution center at the Gateway Business Park at their meeting last night. Construction could start as early as next week and is expected to be done by September of next year. Kenosha and Oak Creek both already have their own Amazon fulfillment centers.
A new poll by the Washington Post out this morning shows a majority of Americans support the impeachment inquiry into President Trump, and almost half say he should be impeached. Meanwhile, President Trump is busy pushing back against members of his own party who are criticizing his announcement to withdraw troops from Syria. The president says he is fulfilling a campaign promise to get the U.S. out of, quote, endless wars.
Hong Kong's leaders warning that the Chinese military could step in if protests get worse. Carrie Lam says seeking Chinese intervention is included in Hong Kong's constitution, but says she can't reveal under what circumstances she would do so. Just last week, Lam implemented a colonial-era emergency law to criminalize wearing masks at rallies.
China State TV says it will stop broadcasting preseason NBA games after the general manager of the Houston Rockets tweeted his support for the Hong Kong protests. The network joins a wave of Chinese companies and sponsors pulling their support of the NBA after that tweet. The NBA's commissioner says he supports the right to free speech.
The county has released its most dangerous intersections in Dane County. We're live at one of them right now, University in Randall, just off of campus. And this video proves why it is so dangerous. Check it out. It shows a driver making a turn, hitting a pedestrian. That person thankfully ended up being okay. Now, this happened in 2015, but UWPD says this intersection has seen 20 crashes like this in the last 5 years. Officials say most, if not all, of these biker and walker related crashes are preventable, and everyone needs to remain alert and put their phones down. For a list of all the problem intersections in our area, head to our website.
Sunny skies this morning across southern Wisconsin. Temperatures are starting out in the 30s and 40s. 41 here in Madison, but only 38 this morning in Watertown. Temperatures through the day, though, will climb rather quickly. We're headed to highs in the upper 60s this afternoon with mostly sunny skies and a light southerly wind.
Patty, thank you very much. The Supreme Court taking up a high-profile issue today. They're considering whether the federal civil rights law protects LGBTQ employees from workplace discrimination. The justices will hear 3 different cases on the matter, weighing in on gay rights for the first time since the retirement of Justice Anthony Kennedy, who typically sided with the court's liberal justices on issues like same-sex marriage.
2 women accused in the death of a teenager in Iowa County are scheduled to be in court later today. Lori Berry and her daughter Alexis both face charges in the death of 13-year-old Selah Caden back in 2018. Autopsy results show she died from smothering and blunt force beating. If convicted, the Berrys face a maximum of 60 years in prison.
Right now, Madison police say they've arrested 2 so-called kingpins in a series of burglaries and car thefts in Dane County. 24-year-old Cleister Moon and 17-year-old Joshua Pitts were arrested Sunday on tentative charges after multiple agencies coordinated to investigate car theft sprees. In addition to burglary charges, the 2 face charges of resisting, obstruction, and fleeing officers.
The attorney representing the boy and his family involved in a $2.8 million lawsuit against the city says he expects their claim to be denied. If that happens, a jury will get to decide if Madison police used reasonable force in that case. It's possible the family will settle before it ever reaches court.
Fitchburg police are looking for the driver of a stolen SUV that crashed into a squad car this week. An officer spotted what he thought was a stolen white Audi SUV in a parking lot near Marlboro Park yesterday. When he went to talk with the driver, he says the SUV intentionally hit his squad car to escape. That SUV should have front damage on the passenger side.
Governor Evers has yet to announce the date for a special election that could serve as a litmus test ahead of the presidential election. It's for the 7th congressional district here in Wisconsin after Republican Sean Duffy announced his resignation. The administration says the election won't take place with the spring primary or the general election, but whenever it happens, it leaves whoever wins the seat with only about 6 months before they have to win it again.
The Milwaukee Bucks are off to a hot start in the preseason last night. They kicked things off with a match up with the Bulls in Chicago. Giannis, Middleton, and Bledsoe didn't make it onto the court, but Wesley Matthews did play in his first game with the Bucks. Matthews scores 10 points in 21 minutes in the playing time. Final score, Bucks 122, Bulls 112.
6:56 now. Let's turn it over to Jason Stone with a look at your first alert traffic. Hi, Jason.
Hello. The westbound Beltline is dipping below the speed limit at Stoughton Road, clearing before West Broadway. All other lanes are at the posted speed limit, and drivers can expect regular wait times at the intersections on John Nolan. With your first alert traffic, I'm Jason Stone.
Thank you very much, Jason.
And don't forget to grab those sunglasses as you head out the door this morning. Skies are clear. Sun comes up just after 7 o'clock this morning. Temperatures are down in the 40s early today, but we'll see a nice warm up. Back into the low 60s by lunchtime, topping at 68 degrees. Another pretty nice day on Wednesday where we're flirting with 70 for highs. Rain then moves in late Thursday, becomes likely on Friday with falling temperatures. It is going to turn quite a bit colder around here for the upcoming weekend. Hope you have those jackets ready. 46 for the high on Saturday and Sunday.
Oof. Boy, beautiful sunrise today, though.
It definitely is.
Thank you very much, Addie.
And thank you all so much for joining us. Go make it a great day. Enjoy that beautiful weather. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.